everything that I wanted it to be. Wasn't expecting this at all. I loved this book and it was a slow burn. It drove me actually insane. Hey book besties, welcome or welcome back. My name is Siân. We've come to the end of September, so let's wrap up my September reads. This has been a ridiculously slow month for me. I don't know what was going on. The books I read this month were a slog to get through. Like, it just took me so much time. I normally read a lot more than this. I literally read double this last month. How? Could brew that. So this is probably going to be quite a short video. We're going to go through the books, we're going to discuss my ratings, we're going to go in depth, what they were about, blah, 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 the usual. Without further ado, the first book, Play Me by Adriana Locke. This was an arc. I unfortunately didn't like this book. I wanted to DNF it, but I tried to power through. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. This was a sports romance. The FMC was basically asked to be sort of the personal assistant for, I can't even remember what fucking sport they played. I've just tried to look and I can't see what sport he played, and that's how unmemorable this story was for me. I don't even remember what sport he played. So it's supposed to be a sports romance. There wasn't a lot of the sports element within the book, which it kind of annoyed me because it's marketed as a sports romance. So I was like, where? Girl, literally where? So it was meant to be an enemies to lovers. The main characters did have some good banter between them, but for the most part, it just fell really flat for me. It felt very forced. Their relationship felt forced. It felt like they just didn't mesh well together. They weren't compatible. The personalities, the way they were written, they just didn't go well together. And obviously it's a romance, so they were together in the end, but it just felt like it was just very forced. One thing that really irritated me as well was that obviously there's inner monologue in every book you read, because obviously you're reading it from the point of view of the main character. That is fine, and every now and again it's fine for them to say something out loud to themselves. I do it when I'm like pottering around the house. I'll speak to myself, like, but the amount of times both main characters spoke to themselves out loud, full-on conversations with just themselves, nobody else was around, it drove me actually insane. Nobody does that. Nobody is doing that. Who is doing that? That's so weird. I felt like it was making me irrationally angry, but every time it happened I was like, stop, please, you're giving me the ick. One other thing for me was that the FMC's friendships, she had these two girls who she was friends with, and that also felt extremely forced. So it wasn't just the romance element, it was like all the relationships just felt forced. I don't know why, I just didn't like it, and I was grateful for the arc opportunity, but this book just was not for me. It was honestly a miracle that I didn't DNF. Then we have Trust Me Always by Megan Brandy. This is book 3 in the Boys of Avix series. I gave this 3.5 stars. I had very, very high hopes for this because Say You Swear is on my god tier list. It's fucking incredible. And Promise Me Not was up there for me as well. I think I gave that like 4.5 stars. It was beautiful, the story, like both of them. Top tier romance, like just wow, out of this world. So I thought this is gonna come with that same energy, and it didn't. It was very enjoyable. I loved Cameron, I loved Brady. They had a fantastic build up in the first 2 books, so I was so excited. I thought friends to lovers, like it's always been you, they finally realised their feelings. I normally hate friends to lovers, but just because of how well their characters were written in the first 2 books, I thought this is gonna slap. I felt like the build up of them was better than their actual romance, which was a shame. The will they, won't they, the tension was more enjoyable for me than when they actually got together at the end. And it was a slow burn, which I don't mind a slow burn. I don't know, there was just something missing in their relationship for me. I really liked the way that she'd done it between Cameron, Brady and Alistair's point of views, and it was like, who is she going to go with here? Is she actually going to end up with Alistair? Then I was rooting for Brady the whole time because Brady's character, I'm sorry, he's just a fucking teddy bear, like a giant teddy bear. I love him, and I was rooting for him. And I hated Alistair at the start, but I really liked his character development. I have to say that was done really, really well, and I kind of felt bad for him at the end. I think he was very misunderstood. I'd hated him from Promise Me Not, and that was completely valid, like he was a twat. But yeah, he did get his redemption arc in this book, and I was glad that it was Cameron and Brady who ended up together. I also really, really loved the snippets of the other couples, like Ari and Noah, and Peyton and Mason, and little Deaton. Oh my god, yeah. Even though this did disappoint me slightly, I'm still so excited for Keep Me Never, Chase's book. This guy's ready for his redemption arc, like he is. I need it. I need it. It's coming out this year as well. Like she's blessed us with 2 books this year. Like I'm so fucking excited. The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. 3.25 stars. I really enjoyed this. I would recommend it. It wasn't as good as some of the other thrillers that I've read from Frida or other thriller authors, but it was still a great read. My mum gave me this book. She'd read it first. That's why the spine is so cracked. I didn't know where this was going, and I did not predict the plot twist like at all. It basically follows, I think she's called Nora. This follows Nora. Her dad was a serial killer. He was sent to jail when she was a child, and now she's grown up and she's a surgeon. She's like changed her name as an adult. She doesn't want to be associated with her dad, which like valid. But people like to say that she's really quick to operate and she likes cutting into people. So it makes you question things about her, and then things start happening at home. Her patients start going missing and turning up dead, and they're killed in the same way that her dad used to kill his victims. So the police start digging, they realise who she is, they start questioning her. It makes you question, is she doing this? Strange things start happening around her house. She finds blood, body parts in her car, things like that, and it's like, is she actually doing this, or like what's going on? I couldn't have predicted the twist. It was a really great read, but just not my favourite of her work. Then we have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I gave this 4 stars. I loved this book. I will say that the first, like, literally like 90% of this book was kind of mid. It was kind of mid. It was enjoyable. I loved the tension between the main characters. Like, it was very much giving same old romantasy that I've read time and time and time again. Nothing special, right? FMC is like human in a non-human world, and she has to go through trials, and it's the same old that you've read, but you eat it up every time because it's great. But then it got to the last 10%, and it just literally changed the whole game for me. I would have knocked this down a little more if it hadn't brought it back at the end, and I thought, why have you waited till the last 10% to bring this energy? It was fantastic. I really loved it. It had some plot twists that I just did not see come in, and I ate that shit up. And I did really like the main characters. The FMC in particular, I liked her a lot. Araya, she was written really well. I love a headstrong FMC. And I love the dynamic between her and the king. I had a feeling that the king was like going to betray her at some point, and we were going to have some revelations where he was going to betray her. I don't really know why, but I had that feeling throughout. Now I can't wait to read book 2, and somebody had actually commented on one of my reviews saying read the novella after book 1, which I didn't even know there was a novella, so thank you to whoever commented on that, because I obviously want to read that before I read book 2. She said it made the reading experience a lot better. So because the first 90% was so slow for me though, this book took me like a week to read. Like, it took me so long, guys, so long. I was trying so hard to just power through it just wasn't happening. Then I read Diabound. This was recommended to me by my friend Tia. She's Tia's Bookshelf on Insta and TikTok. I'd heard such good things about this book. I was so excited to dive into this book, okay? I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. The first 30% I really didn't enjoy that much, and it took me ages. This book took me about 8 days to read. It took me like 8 days to read, like what the fuck? But once I got past the first 30%, I really did start to enjoy it. There was a major plot twist around that point, and I was like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting this at all. But then there was some other plot twist that came into play that I was expecting, which is fine, like don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the story, but I did kind of predict those. This was a very wild ride. There was so much that went on in this book, like literally so much. It really did keep me entertained. And then don't even get me started on Stark. Firstly, I hate his name, like what is that? But that's by the by. This man, we love and enemies to lovers, grumpy arsehole. Something about that just fucking slaps every time. When he literally bowed to her at the end, I was like screaming. Screaming! And when Anassa, her wolf, said, oh, I'm not going to tell you who my mate is, I knew instantly that it was going to be Stark's wolf. I just had a feeling it was going to be him. Like, that wasn't a surprise for me, but I loved it all the same. Like, that means that they've got an even bigger connection, which is just, I'm going to eat that up. And then the cliffhanger at the end, I'm sorry, what the fuck? That was so fucking rude. How could they end it like that? Yeah, really enjoyed it. I will definitely be reading book 2. I need more. Okay, next. Willing Prey by Ali Oleander. I got an arc of this book through Evermore. Thank you, Evermore. This was a great little read. I gave this 3.75 stars. This did exactly what it said on the tin. Claire is divorced. Her ex-husband has left her with a load of debt. Her ex-husband's boss, Shane, pays her 30k to come and live in his house for 30 days. She gets £1,000 a day. And basically all she has to do is when he messages her saying run, she fucking gets her ass into the woods and he chases her down. And if he catches her, he sleeps with her. The whole point is that he gets to hunt her. So he doesn't want to be bored. He wants somebody who's going to give him a good hunt, right? Claire is no damsel in distress. This woman throws herself off a fucking roof to get away from him. It was great. Like, the spicy scenes really hit. This is essentially an erotica. It is like, the whole point is just basically smut. But I wasn't mad at it. Like, sometimes you just want a good smutty read, right? This is going to give you that. This is not going to give you like a big emotional, like plot heavy story. It's not the point of the book. The point is he hunts her through the woods. Like, the banter in this book was spectacular. I was howling reading this. Like, it was written really, really well and it was so funny. It's going to give you great spice, a good laugh. There was some mild conflict between like the main characters and then her ex-husband. I'm very intrigued about his brother and his like personal assistant. I'm not sure if we maybe might get a book 2 between them because the way she set up the brother, there's clearly a backstory there. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about the backstory between the brothers and their dad. There's clearly some like past trauma with their dad. And also Claire's best friend, she wasn't really in it very much. But other than that, no notes, it was great. And then lastly we have Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. This is book 3 and the final book in the Lakefront Billionaire series. I literally just finished this tonight and it's the 30th of September. I literally got it in right for the deadline. I loved this. I gave it 4.5 stars. This book was everything that I wanted it to be. I knew it was an arranged marriage. Obviously Lorenzo and Lily have been featured in the other books. Lily is Dahlia's sister. I gave the first 2 books both 5 stars, so I knew this was going to be good. I had really high hopes and it met my expectations completely. I didn't realise how much I needed their story though until I started reading it. I literally couldn't put it down. I've read this in less than 48 hours. Like, couldn't put it down, couldn't read it fast enough. This is 550 pages. I fucking inhaled this book. So basically they meet on a dating app. It's an anonymous thing. They both use fake names. They meet up and they both realise who the other is and they've known of each other in the town. And they're like, oh my God, they have this amazing kiss. And then he's like, fuck, I need a fake fiance for my mayoral campaign. This woman could be the real deal. This is not what I'm looking for. So he shits it and bails basically, breaks her heart. That's it, they don't have any contact. Fast forward months now, the other guy running for mayor is trying to buy Lily's shop, which is the flower shop in town. And he's getting like people along this strip to sign NDAs to say that they're not allowed to talk about it, but we'll pay you off essentially and off you go. She's like, I don't have the money to fight this and like I can't buy the shop out. So she panics. Lorenzo is still looking for a fake fiance because he thinks if people see him as more personable and willing to put roots down in the town that they will vote for him basically. So they team up and it's a very reluctant team up because she's still heartbroken and he's still like, oh, this is probably not a good idea. But they team up into this fake dating relationship, which is fucking delicious. The slow burn in this was top tier. I ate that shit up. Lorenzo has OCD. His parents were killed when he was a child and it just developed this OCD because he felt like he needed to have control over everything else in his life because something so out of his control blew up his entire world as he knew it basically. So he has really bad OCD even when it comes to things like Lily's safety and like where she is. So he's like tracking her through jewelry and stuff. It's fucking great. The tension between them was stunning. Like I really loved it. And when they finally got together, I was like, do you know what I mean? They had some issues they had to overcome. It just had all the hallmarks of a great romance story and the characters were really well developed. Their backstories, their personalities, just everything about them. The relationship felt really organic and I just loved everything about it. Just could not put it down. It was fantastic. I'm really sad this series is over now, but what a ride. So there we are. They're the 7 books I read this month. Sorry that this was a very quick video. I wish I would have read more, but alas, here we are. I did just post a video choosing my October reads. In honour of spooky season, I'm reading all dark romance for the entire month of October, so I will leave that video right here if you do want to stay for a while. And thank you so much for watching.